In a big win for Tesla, India says it will lower import taxes on certain EVs for companies committing to at least $500 million in investment and manufacturing facilities within 3 years. Tax rate will be 15% on cars costing $35,000 and above, down from 70 to 100% currently, so it's a big deal. However, a maximum of 40,000 EVs at the rate of not more than 8,000 per year would be permissible if the investment is of $800 million or more. The carryover, however, of unutilized annual import limits would be permitted. So while it is not a big number, it will allow Tesla to build superchargers in preparation for the compact car. Even though there's going to be a limit on how many cars can be imported, that's still a very big change compared to what it was before. India seemingly did not want to do anything, but now the things are changing. Currently, electric models made up about 2% of total car sales in India in 2023, and the infrastructure, I imagine, is not exactly great. The government's goal is to increase that number to 30% by 2030. Vietnamese EV maker VinFast also plans to invest $2 billion in India, and last month they already began constructing a local factory. Currently, because India is so poor, the car market over there is not big, but if the growth continues, the market will get substantially bigger. And India does not really like China. And the biggest competition for Tesla, I believe, is going to come from China. So Tesla can establish its foothold in India and practically have no serious competition. While India is not going to be a crucial market for Tesla in the next few years, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, I think we look at India and we'll say that is one of the most important markets for Tesla. Speaking about vehicle sales specifically. Adam Jonas has a bullish note out today on Tesla stock. Our industry discussions suggest Elon Musk is spending increasing amounts of time focused on Optimus. Our $320 price target for Tesla is comprised of auto hardware, auto-related software, services, and energy-related businesses. While Tesla's competencies in computer vision, machine learning, AI, and robotics may have a multitude of adjacent commercial applications, we have not included such revenue streams, including Optimus, in our model or valuation at this time. This is something that I have been talking now for a little while. Elon Musk is spending more time on Tesla compared to before. And now we are hearing from other sources this is actually happening. I think for many of us Tesla stock investors, it is much easier to hold Tesla stock knowing that Elon Musk is actively focused on Tesla. Then, even if things get really bad, Elon Musk will focus more on Tesla and turn things around eventually. ARK Invest is buying more Tesla stock this time, significantly more than normal. $35 million worth of Tesla stock. This comes about a week after Cathie Wood was on TV saying that they are going to increase their Tesla stock price target. Their previous 5-year target was $2,000, so expect to see more now. And maybe you don't believe that Tesla stock is going to go there, but Cathie Wood clearly is very bullish on Tesla. Otherwise, why would she be buying more? Meet Kevin, though, sold his entire Tesla stock position, but contrary to some of the popular belief, he does not have a Tesla stock short position. It seems to me that Kevin is quite a bit more concerned about the short-term performance than the long-term performance, and he does say that for most people, the best strategy is to buy and hold. I see now why people think that Meet Kevin is shorting Tesla. His video is titled Going Short Tesla Stock. He doesn't say he's shorting it, but Meet Kevin is being a little bit naughty there, just like he often is with his titles and thumbnails. However, I'm reading some of the comments and people are saying I was hoping this was clickbait, and someone says it is, but then someone else replies it is not. If you are a course member, you can check it out easily. So I guess he is short. It's just not in his fund, I guess. I also watched the entire video from Kevin, and he's saying explicitly that he is only worried short term. In the long term, he seems still bullish on the company, but he's very worried about the short term, and specifically, he's really worried about interest rates not being cut as much as everyone is expecting, and that's one major reason why he sold his Tesla stock position. Tesla has started installing the new yokes. The quality is much improved. Sawyer was told by one of the owners. The center horn is great, and the camera button replaces where the horn used to be, and the blinker buttons are also much more clicky. Before, they used to be sort of like touch feedback kind of thing, but now it feels like an actual button. I personally though think that Tesla should put stocks for turning signals until FSD is actually fully solved. The local mayor, where Giga Berlin basically is, shares an update on Tesla Giga Berlin's proposed expansion plan after the vote of the citizens of the city against clearing another 100 hectares of forest at Giga Berlin. A new sketch for an adjusted development plan has been published. This would make all planned infrastructure projects possible while saving 70 hectares of forest.
Elon, please tell us, will you increase the capacity of the Gigafactory Berlin as planned?
Yes.
To 1 million units?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Is it still the right place?
Yeah, I think it's great. Hey. I think it's a great place.
Maybe that's also why Elon went to Giga Berlin, because there were a few issues with the expansion, and maybe he talked to the local mayor as well. What is clear though is that Tesla is going to build a lot more vehicles at Giga Berlin. Oh, this is cool. You can now directly connect friends to a Tesla advisor. When enabled, a group message will be created for you. Your friend and Tesla will tap refer. Now, a Tesla advisor will reach out separately to assist your friend once they agree to be messaged. I definitely like this. Earlier, Elon Musk hyped up the new version V12.3. He said it could be version 13, and he just reposted this with succinct comments after 60 minutes of city streets on this new version. This is not Elon Musk speaking, but let's take a listen.
I drove this road on the way home from work a little bit ago, and it was very good as far as the pathing goes. Like, this is extremely good, even compared to the previous V12. It's just very smooth. So that car was stopped, and this is a bad part. Yeah, that's not great. It kind of goes into the bike lane there, and that's repeatable. It's done that before. That car was stopped, and then the green turn arrow turned on, and they started going. At no point was it uncomfortable. We were approaching them and decelerating at a very, very natural rate based on the distance away that we were. The turn arrow turned green, and it's almost like the car understood that that driver in front of us was then going to start speeding up again. So we kind of kept proceeding as if that car was going to move out of the way, which of course they did. Yeah, there's a lot of nuance here that feels really, really good.
That's nice.
A lot of nuance. I can't describe it. Even as a passenger, I think it would be hard to pick up on because you're not actually directly involved in the driving process. Even if you're paying attention, I feel like you have a little bit more situational awareness behind the wheel of very subtle nuances. Yeah, V12.3 is the best version of self-driving I've ever experienced by far. And I've had self-driving since, I think, October of 2020, one of the NDA closed beta testers. So it's kind of a big deal. I have a lot to think about, but I can't wait for it to go wider. And I hope everyone has similar experiences to me, because I think this is the one that we've all been waiting for. Not to say it can't get better, because there could be, always tweaks. But I think the best way I can describe it is this is, in my mind, the first version that a lot of people are actually going to use on a daily basis. I've used FSD on a daily basis for 3.5 years, 99.9% of my miles, because I love doing this. But a lot of people try it and hate it and don't turn it on again for a while. I think this is the first version that people are actually going to use, and it's only going to get better from here. I'm stoked officially about FSD again. This is the one to look forward to.
Omar now has FSD version 12.3, and it drove him from Redwood City to Stanford with 0 interventions, and it was boring, which is exactly what we want to see. And it was a 30-minute drive, so not a 5-minute ride. I skipped around the video, and seems like there's no highway really, or not much of it. It's mostly sort of city driving, but some parts are quite a bit easier than the other parts, but it's not the easiest drive you can do, so this is pretty good. However, Omar says his second set of drives last night on Tesla 12.3 FSD kind of sucked.
Yeah, we were going to get funneled to the highway if we stayed left there, so it's really great. It went over the solid white line there. It needs more with that, and then it needs to go. It needs to go when it should. That was a little too aggressive. We got a pothole there. I intervene for that.
It's really hard to see from the video, but this car was signaling to turn right. I don't think this is legal, so I don't consider that okay. However, Bradford did mention that occasionally he makes a turn like that because to turn left, you can make that turn at a relatively higher speed compared to this car turning right because the turning radius is pretty sharp. So this car has to slow down quite a bit to make that turn. But from here, you can go pretty fast making that turn. I would never turn like that unless I was stuck in there for like half an hour. And this is Gary Black with Bradford.
We'll see.
Oh, so maybe go around the block?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. That would be interesting if it did that.
Oh, we just blew a stop sign. But there are
That
no
was a
cars.
rolling stop.
There are no cars there, so
What happens when it sees a pothole?
I didn't intervene. Hang on. Just blew a stop sign.
Don't intervene. I want to see what it does. There's
It just blew another one. It must be a Chicago thing.
See, there's the vets.
Yeah, our destination's on the left.
And it didn't stop.
Okay, the first stop sign, the car was going too fast through that intersection. I don't count that as a rolling stop. I think that was too fast. However, the second stop sign, pay attention right now, the car did slow down a lot. Obviously, it looked for vehicles. It didn't see anything coming out. So it just did a rolling stop. I would have slowed down more, but in the second instance, I don't think the Tesla vehicle was endangering anyone. The first one, I'm not cool with that one. Both stop signs though had graffiti, and the first one, maybe that's why you didn't recognize it, I'm not sure, but that certainly does not excuse the vehicle from not stopping.
All right, so we got a double parked car. I probably would have gone for it. But this is fine.
You broke? You
No.
braked? No?
I think the situation was completely fine. I would have probably stopped. Some people are a bit more aggressive.
What's it going to do?
I mean, that would be a perfect spot to stop right here.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, there's Dublin's.
You have arrived.
Boom, here we are.
Okay, let's do one more name.
Good job, Tesla.
Good job.
The parking job was pretty smooth.
All right.
And we gave it a good test here. We're not going through this.
Can't go that way. Okay.
Can't go right.
Go left.
Gotta go left.
Will it know to go left or no?
There it goes. It changed its mind.
Wow. Very good. Good stuff.
It really wanted to go right until the last. It's like it tried every app. It's going to pull in right here.
Wow. Very good. I like that. I'm impressed.
And here's proof that V12.3 reads no right on red signs, no creeping at all, no red arrow, just a sign. That's good. It just sits here until it's time to turn. And then eventually the light turns green about now. Here we go. And the car starts going. Very impressive. I think many people missed this, but Contrarian said, I think it's the most amazing product I've used since the iPhone. He's talking about FSD. Omar says, expect more analysts to continue to wake up as FSD Beta 12 rolls out in the coming days and weeks. To which Gary responded with, expect more analysts to cut Tesla's Q1 and 2024 delivery and EPS forecast. Tesla's year-over-year auto revenue growth likely to go negative for only the second time in Tesla history. But Omar doesn't care about the automotive business. They're making the right moves, he says. And Contrarian, if I remember correctly, he said that his price target consists largely of the energy business and also some FSD. The auto business is only a small piece of his Tesla stock price target. It also seems that many more people are getting FSD 12.3. This person is not a Tesla employee and he got FSD, so check your car. And someone just had quite an experience with FSD. This is with V12.3. For the first time ever, I traveled from Orange County to LA with zero interventions in busy LA traffic, more natural than a human driver. It was perfect. And based on that, this person says Tesla stock is now worth $500 per share. I'm not sure how long exactly the drive was, but I assume it was about 1 hour long. So it's interesting to see that we are starting to see people who are not Omar saying that they are getting relatively long drives with zero interventions. Now, personally, I would like to see a video of that, and I expect to start seeing videos like that, 30 minutes, 1 hour, no interventions, as Tesla continues to improve FSD and new FSD versions come out. However, James has some thoughts. Overall, James is bearish on FSD. The three things that affect the take rate are price, interest, and access. Tesla is not actively selling FSD. Salespeople don't even talk about it. If all Tesla does is start promoting it, the rate would increase. Tesla isn't even allowed to use FSD beta in Europe and China yet, so access is playing a role. But in the next 2 years, access should greatly improve. That settles this barrier. We have heard about Europe already, and we have heard quite a few things from China. I don't believe Tesla will achieve robotaxi level performance in the next 2 years. However, I do think that FSD will improve materially, price will drop substantially, and that take rate will increase organically from both of these things happening in parallel. Tesla may even choose to bundle FSD into their overall product offering, kind of like what they do with basic autopilot today, to sell more cars and support a higher average selling price than other competitors. What can Tesla afford to charge extra on every single sale for a fantastic level 2 system? Maybe $3,000 to $4,000 per vehicle, he thinks. If that happens, Tesla's new sales will equal new FSD users. $4,000 per year on sales of 5 million in 2027 is 20 billion and almost 100% gross margin revenue. I don't see a ChatGPT moment happening anytime soon, but I would ask, for anyone who says that about FSD, I would ask you, did you see that ChatGPT moment happen before it happened? Or did you notice it after it happened, huh? I would consider changing my opinion if we stop seeing interventions and if we see that FSD is going progressively longer between interventions anywhere. For robotaxi, the car needs to drive by itself for months without an intervention. My investment horizon is much longer than 2 years, so this doesn't change anything for me. We went from about 300 Cybertrucks to 238, so they shipped out about 60. This is really good. Tesla connected a trailer to a Cybertruck with a box containing a Model Y. The box displays the words, "The best-selling car in the world is made in America," and it shows the Model Y. This is really smart advertising. Or sorry, not advertising because Tesla is not paying for this. Really smart marketing. Even Fred from Electric says, this is really cool and really smart for Tesla to do. He says, "This is in line with my claim that Cybertruck is a mistake turned marketing tool." He doesn't mean that Tesla made a bad truck or anything like that. He just means that Tesla supposedly killed the growth by focusing on this more expensive vehicle instead of focusing on the next generation vehicles that would be cheaper. Factory tours have been added back to the Tesla referral program. Tesla wants to hire someone to eliminate the need for its EVs to get service. Well, that would be amazing. Tesla is in search of a new senior manager who will focus on eliminating the need for the automaker service. They will be in charge of a new program called Zero Service. While franchise dealers benefit from vehicles needing service, since Tesla owns everything, it is better off having minimal service needed. Here's the job description. So it looks like Tesla is about to build a team that's going to be focused just on eliminating service completely. As a customer, I would love this to become a reality. Tesla to make finding a trailer-friendly supercharger stalls much easier. We know that Tesla is working on building some more pull-through stalls, but later on there's going to be a filter that will allow you to only display the superchargers that do have that feature, where you don't need to disconnect your trailer before supercharging. There's a new Elon Musk clip with Don Lemon.
Do you believe that X and you have some responsibility to moderate hate speech on the platform? That you wouldn't have to answer these questions from reporters about the Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Democrats? I don't have to answer these questions. The Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Jewish people. Do you think that?
I don't have to answer questions from reporters. Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on the X platform and you asked for it. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I would not do this interview.
So you don't think? Do you think that you wouldn't get in trouble or you wouldn't be criticized for these things?
I'm criticized constantly. I could care less.
Wells Fargo came on the program yesterday. This is what they had to say: no growth this year, negative volume growth next year. How do you value a company if they're going to be the growth figures over the next 2 years?
Yeah, look, I disagree with next year in terms of the negative volume. I mean, like, my view on Tesla is it's easy right now to get negative. Look, they are going, I mean, we talk about it day after earnings here, they're going through a white knuckle period. I mean, China demand's been soft, the margin story, the communication. But look, my view is on the other side of this will be a company on its way, 2.5, 3 million units when we look at the next few years. They will gain more share, the leverage will be there, and I believe ultimately numbers, EPS growth will start to come back up.
It just doesn't feel like that's where the market is right now. It feels like the market is in a space which benefits hybrids. Toyota, GM starting to lean in that direction. Think about it, Ford's already there. Tesla just doesn't feel like it's in the sweet spot. What's going to change your mind on this?
I think the issue is, do you want an EV or do you want a Tesla or do you want a hybrid? And I think for Tesla, look, a lot of it comes down to price. And obviously they've cut price. That's what they need to do in terms strategically. The problem now, and speaking to Wells and some others, is that numbers are coming down. It's going to be a sluggish 1Q. So in the near term, it is easy to be negative on this. I mean, our view is, look, we've been here before. The last decade, many times we've been in these white knuckle periods. To me, this is not the end of the growth story. I believe this is a growth story with AI, FSD, that's still going to have a significant piece on the horizon. But no doubt, in the near term, like when I have a positive note on Tesla, probably 30 emails within 10 minutes negative, because sentiment, look, the Uber driver today was super negative on Tesla.
Yeah, but Dan, you know why they're upset. Because if I'm a client, this stock is down by something like 30% year to date, and you've had a buy on it the whole way down.
No doubt. But
that's why they're upset.
100%. But in my career, in 25 years, our calls have been when things got the worst, whether it was Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Apple. When things got the worst, you handheld through those periods in terms of onto the other side. It is easy to yell fire in a crowded theater when you're going through this period.
I'm always surprised when I see someone who invested in Tesla stock for the short term and then get upset that the stock drops significantly. I mean, all you need to do is just look at Tesla's history and you will find multiple times where Tesla suddenly just drops 20%, 30%, 40%, even 50%. Very quickly, almost out of nowhere. That happened many times. And the right thing has always been to hold during these periods. And that's going to be it for today's video. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Months ago, I said that I want to get into some of the controversial subjects that I would like to cover, but some of them are a bit risky to cover and can increase your chances substantially of getting canceled. And I remember someone leaving a comment under that video saying that, how am I controversial? I don't even curse. Well, I'm a gentleman. But one of the first things that I want to look into is, are these two guys actually innocent or are they guilty? I want to look into the facts myself. My young brothers, 14 years old, asked me earlier about these two guys, and I didn't quite know what to tell them because I am aware of them, but I don't follow them very closely. So I want to do my own research independently and then come to my own conclusion. That was my first video about these two guys. This is not an endorsement of them, but I just want to see what's actually happening. So this is going to be my first subject, and then with time I will move into some other subjects as well. I'm not making the change right now, but later on I might update the channel name to map posts on Tesla stock, money, and news.